Hey, what's going on, athletes and willpower faithfuls alike? Welcome to the second edition of Ask WillMac. When I reached out for ideas, I told you guys I got a lot of them, but among those, a few times was explanations of exercises. Sometimes a couple of comments I said was explain form, and some people said explain the purpose. And so I'm going to kind of do both those in an exercise that we did today. I got a black shirt on. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty sweaty. Just got done with our live upper body workout. And in that workout, I did a set in which we did 3 straight minutes of shoulder presses. Shoulder presses is one of my favorite exercises. It always makes me feel strong. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. That's what I'm going to explain to you today. Not only what shoulder presses do, but why we do them. So what does a shoulder press look like? Now, most of us know, and listen, there's variations, dozens of variations to every exercise. I'm going to explain shoulder presses in the context that we do them if you train with me. And what that means is a rep range of anywhere between 10 and 15 usually. I mean, obviously, we did a 3-minute set today. We probably all did somewhere between 30 and 40 shoulder presses. But it was only one set. So a lot of times we'll do 10, 12, or 15 repetitions for 3 sets. So, like I said, everything I explain will be in the context of hypertrophy training or a 10 to 15 rep count. Okay, anyway, here's a shoulder press. Oh my gosh, I still got a couple of them left in me, but boy, are my shoulders sore. So really, what a shoulder press is taking the weights from your shoulders and then fully extending overhead. Now, the biggest form cue with and I'm gonna give you a couple of them, but the biggest one is fully extending. A lot of times you'll see people, and gentlemen are guilty of this in the gym a lot. If you frequent a gym, if you have a gym membership, a big box gym membership where people are working out on their own, guys, well, you'll see them do this one right here, this number right here. And while it's not totally unbeneficial, they're not getting the most out of the exercise that they could if they were fully extending at the top and then bringing the weight all the way back down to their shoulders at the bottom. Almost every exercise that I train, I always encourage achieving a full range of motion, and that's so we develop strength throughout the entire range of motion, not just part of it. And shoulder presses obviously are no exception to that. Okay, the second form cue, and this usually happens when people get tired, okay, is what you'll start to do is find yourself leaning back and pressing up. Now, why would you do that when you get tired? I'll tell you why. It's because as your shoulders are doing almost all the work, almost 100% of the work, pressing straight overhead. As you lean back, that means your shoulders are becoming more tired. That means instinctively your body wants to incorporate more chest into pushing. So that's what happens when you lean backwards, is you're putting a little bit more stress on your lower back, but you're taking a lot of the pressure off of your shoulders, and you are incorporating more chest to push the weight. And it actually it looks more like a chest press. A chest press is when you're laying on your back and pressing straight out. So it makes sense, right? How to avoid that? Set the weights down, take a breath, pick them back up, do the rep properly. Okay, so those are my 2 form cues as far as shoulder presses go. Now, what muscles are we working with shoulder presses? Now, the first thing, before I answer that question, the first thing, and this might be a little bit technical, a little bit complicated, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. There's 3 motions to every exercise, to every single repetition. Okay, and that is the concentric. That is when that's what you think about when people usually say, what muscles are we working? Well, this is the concentric. This is the one that takes effort, right? That we're getting the weight up. In a bicep curl, it would be this motion right here. Think contract, concentric. Contract, concentric. So if my bicep is contracting, my shoulder is contracting, right? That's the concentric motion. There's the eccentric motion, which is at the top, which sometimes you'll hold for just a very brief second. It's probably the most overlooked motion in any particular repetition. As a matter of fact, Abby, if you did today's workout, she had us hold a bicep curl. That's the top of the bicep curl. That would be the eccentric motion or part of that repetition. You know what? I got that wrong. That's isometric. So it's concentric, isometric, and then eccentric would be the way down. So I'm sorry. That whole last 2 minutes I spent, let's talk about that again. Concentric is the way up, isometric is at the top, and then eccentric is the way down. Eccentric means you're fighting gravity, right? So fighting gravity, I'm going to use different muscles than I am going going with gravity. I'm going to use different muscles than going against gravity, right? Because here's the idea. At the top of my shoulder press, I'm not letting the weight just fall down on me, right? I'm controlling it down. And that's when you're using contrary muscle groups. Okay, that was complicated. That was even so complicated that I messed it up a little bit. I'm gonna have to go back to my personal training books and refresh. But anyway, I wanted to explain that so I can answer the question, what muscles are we working in a shoulder press? The easy answer to that is deltoids. I'm gonna talk about two muscle groups. Deltoids, that is this big shoulder muscle, right? Your shoulder is actually one of the most complex joints in your body. It is comprised of your deltoid, which is the front of your shoulder, your anterior deltoid, posterior deltoid, and which make up your deltoid, your shoulder muscle, right? That's the one you see with a tank top, right? This whole your shoulder. Now, helping the smaller, or helping the stabilize the joint is what's called the rotator cuff. You hear about rotator cuffs when you hear about injuries. Baseball pitchers have a lot of rotator cuff injuries. Power lifters may have rotator cuff injuries, trying to stabilize all the weight, especially with your upper body. But anyway, we won't get into those too much. I just want you to know that the shoulder is a very complex joint. Your deltoid is what we are working. Your shoulder muscle is what we are working. The second muscle group that we're working on a shoulder press is your triceps, and that is the back of your arm. So I want you to think, whenever we do shoulder presses, I want you to feel your shoulders. I want you to feel your triceps, especially in that concentric motion. Concentric, isometric, eccentric. Okay, enough of that. Why do we do them? To be honest with you, I love good-looking shoulders. Good-looking shoulders, they look good in tank tops. They look good when you're in a bathing suit, and I'm talking about guys and girls, right? You just look more fit. You look stronger when you have fit, well-defined, strong shoulders. In real life applications, it's hard to come up with exact examples, but anytime you have to hold anything above your head, sometimes you got to hold your baby above your head, sometimes you got to put something heavy on a shelf. But the bottom line is, the stronger you are, the more independent you are. The more independent you are, the more confident you are, and confidence is sexy. Once again, whether you're a guy, whether you're a girl, confidence and sexy, and I think a lot of that comes from strength training and just proving to yourself that you can get stronger, that you can do shoulder presses. So, and that kind of goes to all the strength building exercises that we do at Willpower and in our workouts. But I love shoulder presses. They make me feel strong, they make me feel independent, and they make me feel sexy. So that is shoulder presses explained. Sorry, I got a little bit clumsy, but Thanks for watching, guys. And remember, if you have any questions for me, then I want you to reach out. You can reach out on Facebook, Instagram, email, text. A lot of you guys have my phone number. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Talk to you soon. Peace.